All right, as we have said before, the real test of whether or not you understand how to do something is whether or not you can throw it together with a bunch of other stuff, mix problems together, and you can still remember what to do. And that's what we're going to do now. We've been solving one-step inequalities using addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division, and we kind of separated those. We did addition and subtraction, then we did multiplication and division. Now we're going to mix those together. So here's the key question. How do you solve an inequality? Hopefully we've gone over that enough that you know. So the answer to that is we solve it just like we solve an equation, except when we multiply or divide by a negative. If we multiply or divide by a negative, we've got to switch the direction of the inequality. And it's only when we're multiplying both sides by a negative or dividing both sides by a negative that we have to switch the direction. Anything else is okay. So that's the key question here. So every time we do one of these problems, you just want to stop and ask yourself, am I multiplying or dividing by a negative? If the answer is yes, we switch the direction. If the answer is no, then you don't. So let's go ahead and do example number one, or problem number one, and you'll notice that this is your assignment right here. So we're going to go through and do a couple of problems here. So on this problem right here, we need to get the n by itself. So we're going to divide by 19. You can almost ignore the fact that that's an inequality for right now. So I'm going to put an n over here. Let's not take care of this yet. And then over on this side, we get 133, negative 133 divided by 19. Gosh, I'm hoping that goes in evenly. Let's just check and see if it does. Let's see. Negative 133 divided by 19, and we end up with negative 7. Great, it goes in evenly, so we get negative 7. Now, stop and ask yourself, what did we do to solve the inequality? What we did is we divided both sides by 19, positive 19. It doesn't matter that this side worked out to be negative 7. The number really isn't the important thing, and the sign isn't really the important thing. The important thing is, what did we do to solve the inequality? We divided by a positive, so that doesn't change the direction, so we're going to leave it just like that. We're going to circle the answer. Then we're going to read it from the variable, and we're going to say, okay, the answers are less than negative 7. So I'm going to put a 0 on here as a reference point. I'm going to put negative 7 on here because that's the most important number on the number line. We have to figure out whether or not it's filled in or not. It's not equal to, so we're going to leave it open. And then again, I'm going to read this backwards again. N is less than negative 7, or the answers are less than negative 7. If the answers are less than negative 7, we all know the less than side of negative 7 is to the left. All these numbers over here are less than negative 7. So here's the border between the numbers that work and the numbers that don't. And the border in this particular case, if we plugged it back in, wouldn't make the inequality true, but all of these numbers over here in the shaded region would. Okay, let's take a look at number 2. We're going to get the a by itself by dividing by negative 7. Again, that's not the terribly important thing here. We're just going to go through and we're going to cancel those. We get an A. Good luck here, 133 and 7. Gosh, those numbers have come up before. This is going to be a positive 19. Now we're going to go back and we're going to look at this and we're going to say, okay, what did we do? We divided by negative 7. We divided both sides by a negative. We introduced the idea of a negative, an opposite. So we have to switch the direction of the inequality. This is going to change to a greater than. I'm going to circle that, so a is greater than 19. So 0 for a reference point, 19 because it's the most important point on the number line here in this problem. It's not equal to, so we're going to leave it open. And a's are greater than 19. The answers are greater than 19, so we're going to shade this direction right here. There we go, and that's the answer. Okay, let's take a look at this one here. Let's see, we need to get the x by itself, so we're going to add 6. That gives us a negative 7 right here, gives us an x over here because those canceled. Now, what we did is we added. Doesn't even matter that we added 6 or added 466 or anything like that. As long as we're adding or subtracting, it does not change the direction of the inequality. So we can immediately write that. Let's see, 0 for a reference point, negative 7 here. We're going to circle it. Are we going to fill it in? We are, because of the equal to. And read from the variable, x is greater than or equal to negative 7. The answers are greater than or equal to negative 7, so that means we're going to shade this direction. So there are 2 lines, a little bit of shading here. And again, you're welcome to try some of these ahead of time and just see if you get them right. So pause the video at any point or anything like that. So we're going to multiply by 15. Multiply by 15, so we get an x here. We get a negative, let's see what this is. This should be just shy of maybe 200 or so, but let's see, 15 times negative 13, negative 195, so negative 195. Now, let me make an argument here. Gosh, we multiplied 15 by negative 13, so we need to switch the direction. Is that the right idea? We multiplied by negative 13, so we need to switch the direction. That is not the right idea, because it's not what this number is, it's what we're doing to both sides. And what we did to both sides is we multiplied both sides by a positive 15. If we're multiplying by a positive, it doesn't change the direction. So I'm going to go ahead and, let's see, 0 for a reference point, negative 195 over here. Circle it. I am going to fill it in. The answers, again reading from the variable, the answers are less than or equal to negative 195. The answers are less than or equal to negative 195. So the answers have got to be on this side. Okay, we'll take a look at number 6. Get the m by itself by subtracting 3. Subtracting doesn't change the direction of the inequality, so I'm just going to write that. Done. Got the answer there. I'm going to put 0 here, 17 here. Circle 17. We don't fill it in. Let's read from the variable. The answers are greater than 17, so the answers are on the bigger side of 17, the right side of 17. Okay, let's see if we've got any others here we want to take a look at. Gosh, nope. I think that ought to do it. So there are 20 problems on the assignment. We just did 5 of them, and you should be in good shape for the rest of it.